How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event, Beach Break, from last night, which was January 26th, 2022. I gotta say, it was awesome. It was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes in a ladder match for the undisputed AEW TNT title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Sammy Guevara went over and won the undisputed AEW TNT title because Sammy Guevara climbed the ladder and retrieved the undisputed AEW TNT title. That was match 1, by the way. Match 2, it was Wardlow versus Elijah Dean and James Alexander in a 2-on-1 handicap match. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, Wardlow went over with a double powerbomb symphony to both Elijah Dean and James Alexander from Wardlow. Well, after the match, as Wardlow was leaving to go backstage, Shawn Spears, who was sitting on the stage throughout the whole match, Shawn Spears tried to go down and attack Elijah Dean and James Alexander with a steel chair, but Wardlow stopped him, and then Wardlow and Shawn Spears went backstage and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. And that was match 2, by the way. Match 3, it was the Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus Daniel Garcia and 2.0, which are Matt Lee and Jeff Parker. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Inner Circle went over because Santana pinned Matt Lee with the pile driver. Match 4, that was match 3, by the way. Match 4, it was Layla Hirsch Match 4, it was Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Layla Hirsch went over with a roll-up. Well, after the match, Layla Hirsch attacked Red Velvet from behind, and then Layla Hirsch put Red Velvet and Layla Hirsch executed the legit lock on Red Velvet. Layla Hirsch did. And as that was going on, Chris Statlander came out and Layla Hirsch retreated, and Chris Statlander chased after Layla Hirsch, and then Chris Statlander as Layla Hirsch went backstage, Chris Statlander tended to Red Velvet and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. And before the match, as Layla Hirsch came out, Red Velvet came out, and then a brawl ensued before the match started and everything. That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. And that was match 4, by the way. Match 5, which was the main event, it was Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole in a lights out match. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Orange Cassidy went over with the Uranagi off the Titantron on the stage through a table. Well, I will say this, that was match of the night, because a lot of things happened. You know, Dan Housen made his debut by sort of assisting Orange Cassidy with in the match, and then disappeared. Brandon Cutler tried to run in and help Adam Cole, but was attacked by Wheeler Yuta. Bobby Fish beat up Wheeler Yuta. Chuck Taylor beat up Bobby Fish. The Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, beat up Chuck Taylor, and then Roppongi Vice, which are Trent Beretta and when the Young Bucks tried to help Adam Cole, Roppongi Vice, which are Trent Beretta, well, the Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, tried to help Adam Cole. Roppongi Vice, which are Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, came out and beat the shit out of the Young Bucks to even the odds. So, but you know, after the match, Chuck Taylor and Chuck Taylor helped Orange Cassidy out of the stage, and then Wheeler Yuta held Orange Cassidy up, and the Best Friends, which are Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, and Rocky Romero, all done the give the people what they want hug and everything. That was cool. Now, besides the matches, besides the matches, Tony Schiavone interviewed Team Taz, which are Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Well, Tony Schiavone was asking why Team Taz wanted him to come out to the Great Lake Erie in the freezing cold, and because he was freezing. And Powerhouse Hobbs told Tony Schiavone to man up, and Powerhouse Hobbs was saying, Dante Martin, I want to challenge you to another match, because the last match we had, you got a fluke victory. Next time we face off, it's not going to be a fluke victory because I'm going to beat your ass. So how about it, Dante? One more match. And then Ricky Starks was saying, and also Jay Lethal, next week on Rampage, since you want, Ricky Starks was saying, also Jay Lethal, since you want a shot at my FTW title, how about it next week on Rampage in Chicago, Illinois? Ricky Starks versus Jay Lethal for the FTW title. And then Tony, and everything. Which that was cool. AEW aired a video package of the build-up of the feud between Hangman Page versus Lance Archer for the AEW TNT title. And in that video package, you know, there was promos back and forth, you know, with Hangman Page and then Lance Archer, along with Jake the Snake Roberts and Dan Lambert. And it was announced in that video package that in 2 weeks it's going to be Hangman Page versus Lance Archer in a Texas death match for the AEW title and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Christian Cage along with the Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and Matt Hardy along with Private Party, which are Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. And Tony Schiavone brought up about the Jurassic Express defending the AEW tag team titles against all challengers and everything, and then Christian Cage was saying, yes, Tony, that's true, because if you're the AEW tag team champions and you're the top tag team in the company, then you're going to have challenges. Like, for example, Billy Gunn and his ass boys, Austin and Colton Gunn, when they attacked me last week, they were making a statement. And then Matt Hardy was saying, oh, wah, Christian Cage. Nobody cares about your whole statement, because the only thing I care about are these two men right here in Private Party. Because Private Party, they're one of the best tag teams in the history of AEW, and they remind me of me and my brother. So Friday night on Rampage, Private Party, they're gonna get a shot at the Jurassic Express for the AEW tag team titles. And Jungle Boy ended up talking shit to Private Party and everything. That was cool. CM Punk came out to the ring and got a microphone and cut a promo, and CM Punk was talking about how Cleveland, Ohio was a great town, and how he wanted to fight MJF, and how he was going to kick his ass, and talk shit about his scarf and everything. And then CM Punk kept talking more shit, and then MJF came out and was talking shit about the town of Cleveland, Ohio, and talking about how the fans desperately want him and CM Punk in a match and everything. And MJF was talking about MJF was saying next week MJF was saying, you people want CM Punk versus MJF? Well, you got it. But it's not going to be in this filthy town of Cleveland, Ohio. So, but next week in CM Punk's hometown of Chicago, Illinois is where it's going to take place. And then MJF was talking about how CM Punk turned his back on the fans 7 years ago, and talked about how he was going to do it again after MJF himself beats him in his own hometown of Chicago, Illinois, and talked about how LeBron James walked out on the people and everything, and talked about how CM Punk's going to do it again, and how he's going to bitch about it on a podcast and all that. And then CM Punk was talking about how MJF was secretly a fan of his, and how he was going to he wanted to fight him now instead of next week, but MJF wouldn't do it. And then CM Punk kept talking more shit, and then CM Punk was saying, you know what, MJF? Unlike you, I'm a fighter. And yes, I did make a decision to leave 7 years ago. But I made a great decision in coming back. But the thing about me, MJF, I always get back up. And then MJF was saying, so you always get back up, huh? Well, let's test the waters right now. And so the rest of the Pinnacle, which are Wardlow, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, came out and distracted CM Punk. And then Shawn Spears snuck into the ring, and Shawn Spears done a double leg takedown on CM Punk and took him down, and CM Punk was trying to fight back, but Shawn Spears was beating the shit out of him with a ground and pound. And as CM Punk was getting a little bit of offense in on Shawn Spears, FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, came in the ring and started double teaming on CM Punk, beating the shit out of him. And then MJF was demanding CM Punk to get back up, but FTR had CM Punk beaten down, and then FTR held CM Punk down while Shawn Spears attacked CM Punk with a steel chair. And then it was Shawn Spears, by the way, that attacked CM Punk with a steel chair while FTR was holding CM Punk down. Well, after that, MJF demanded Wardlow to powerbomb CM Punk. And so Shawn Spears and FTR picked CM Punk up, and Wardlow executed the powerbomb to CM Punk on the steel chair. And then after Wardlow powerbombed CM Punk, after Wardlow executed the powerbomb to CM Punk, MJF was still on the microphone and was saying, MJF said on CM Punk's chest crisscrossed, and MJF was saying, so you people want CM Punk and MJF? CM Punk versus MJF? Next week, you got it. And next week, I'm going to beat CM Punk because I'm better than you and you know it. And everything. And then the Pinnacle, which are MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, all celebrated. And everything. And stood tall and celebrated. And everything. That was cool. The Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, cut a promo, and Max Caster was talking about how Jon Moxley attacked him before their tag team match a year ago, and everything. And then Anthony Bowens talked about how the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, cut a promo, and Max Caster was talking about how Jon Moxley attacked him before their tag team match on Dynamite last year. Anthony Bowens talked about how Jon Moxley attacked him after after the match. Wait a minute. The Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, cut a promo. Max Caster was going off about Jon Moxley and everything, and then Anthony Bowens brought up about Jon Moxley attacking him before their tag team match last year on Dynamite. Max Caster, that was Anthony Bowens talking about that, by the way. Max Caster was talking about how Jon Moxley attacked him after his match against Brian Pillman Jr. last year on Rampage and everything. And then Max Caster was talking about how Jon Moxley was a reckless buffoon and everything. And then Anthony Bowens talked about how he was going to face off against Jon Moxley Friday night on AEW Rampage and how he was going to kick his ass and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Griff Garrison and Julia Hart. Well, Tony Schiavone was talking about the whole feud between the House of Black, which are Malachi Black and Brody King, against the Varsity Blondes, which are Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, and everything. And then Julia Hart was getting ready to talk about it, but Mark Sterling came along and said, Julia Hart, boy, am I glad to see you. Well, listen, there's this form that I have for you because Jade Cargill wants to put her TBS Women's Championship on the line against you. But the reason I have this form is because because it's a waiver due to your eye. So what do you say? Well, Julia Hart was getting ready to sign it, but Griff Garrison was saying, Julia, I don't think this is a good idea. I think you need more time to heal from your eye. And Julia Hart said, Griff, I make my own decisions. You don't make them for me. So therefore, I'm going to do this. And then Julia Hart signed off on the form and everything. That was cool. The House of Black, which are Malachi Black and Brody King, cut a promo. Malachi Black was talking about how he selected his brother Brody King and how they're dominating and everything, and Brody King came along and said, Pac, you just made your own bed by issuing a challenge to us. Because once we're done with you, then you're gonna wish you were dead. Then Brody King left, and Malachi Black said, because death is inevitable and everything. That was cool. Sammy Guevara and Fuego del Sol came out with the cue cards, and Sammy Guevara was talking. Well, Fuego del Sol was holding the cue cards, and Sammy Guevara was reading them and throwing them on the ground, and it was saying, "Tonight, I was bruised, battered, and beaten, but yet I climbed the ladder and won the undisputed AEW TNT title. And within 2 years in this company, not only have I climbed the ladder to win the title, but I've climbed to the top of the mountain in this company. And I am one of the true pillars of this company. And without you all, I would be nothing. I wouldn't be AEW TNT champ. So for that, I thank you all. And from this day forward, I'm going to put up all challenges with my undisputed AEW TNT title and everything." That was cool. Tony Schiavone was in the ring and introduced Britt Baker. So Britt Baker came out and was talking about how she had a great 2021 and how she said she was going to prove that she was going to have a great 2021 and has had a great 2021, winning so many awards, being the cover girl of 2 wrestling magazines, having match of the year, feud of the year, and everything. And then Britt Baker was talking about how she hadn't been on the microphone in a while, which is criminal, because every time CM Punk and MJF are on the microphone, they can't keep her name out of their mouths, and said that she didn't blame them because of all her accomplishments and everything. And then Britt Baker was talking about how she was going to remain AEW Women's Champion and how she was going to go through every obstacle of the way and keep her AEW Women's title and everything. And Britt Baker ended the segment saying, "'Cause yours truly, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD," and everything. That was cool. Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero came out. Well, Vicky Guerrero had a microphone and was saying, "Excuse me," and then Nyla Rose got on the microphone and was saying, "I should be TBS Women's Champ, but it was because of one person why I'm not TBS Women's Champ, and that is Ruby Soho. And I want Ruby Soho next week, because I'm going to demolish Ruby Soho and I'm going to kick her ass. And that's all I got to say about that." And then Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero left and went backstage and everything. That was cool. And not only all that, but AEW aired a video package of the build-up of the match between FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, along with Tully Blanchard, versus the Nightmare Family, which are Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson, along with Arn Anderson, which it was recapping the interview that Tony Schiavone did for All 6 Men 2 weeks ago and everything. That was cool. Now, besides all that, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. The referees for the event were Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, and Aubrey Edwards. Okay. Paul Turner refereed the match between Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes in a ladder match for the undisputed AEW TNT title. Rick Knox refereed the match between Wardlow versus Elijah Dean and James Alexander in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between the Inner Circle versus Daniel Garcia in 2.0. Rick Knox refereed the match between Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. And Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole in a lights out match. All the referees done awesome as usual. Now, the match card that's been announced for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite next week that's been announced so far, it's going to be CM Punk versus MJF and the Death Triangle, which are Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo versus the House of Black, which are Malachi Black and Brody King. Those are the matches that have been announced so far. So, the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite Wednesday night that's been announced so far looks like it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see it. Looking forward to it. And the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage special event Beach Break Championship Friday. Tomorrow night, it's going to be the Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, versus Private Party, which are Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy for the AEW Tag Team titles. Jade Cargill versus Julia Hart for the TBS Women's title. Jon Moxley versus Anthony Bowens and FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, versus the Nightmare Family, which are Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage special event Black Friday Championship. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage Beach Break Championship Friday looks like it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see it. Looking forward to it. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event Beach Break from last night, which was January 26th, 2022. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.